When I spoke with you in January through the video Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which can be found on the links page of thomaspointfinancial.com, it was snowing outside. Well, it's 6 months later and there's no snow in sight. In fact, the Earth just experienced its 2 hottest days in history, and it's been a scorcher here in the Annapolis area. Like the physical temperatures we've been experiencing outside, we anticipate that the temperature around the elections will continue to rise in the coming weeks and months. The political rhetoric is bound to heat up. This is Jack Snowden coming to you from Edgewater, Maryland. We're about 2 miles south of our corporate headquarters and 4 miles south of Annapolis. So far this year, as I shared in January, most election years in recent history bring positive counter-year returns. However, markets don't move in a nice, smooth line, and it would not be unusual for the markets to experience some volatility or a short-term correction in anticipation of the upcoming election. This week, with the elections and the markets on my mind, I dove into a bunch of different reports. In fact, there were 10 reports from 10 investment companies that looked at correlations and patterns and statistics around the elections and the marketplace. And there were a lot of fascinating, dozens if not hundreds of statistics were shared, but the conclusion of all the reports was something that you and I already know, that the markets over the long term tend to go higher. And the conclusion is that of these reports that irregardless of which party's in the White House or running Congress, that the markets have gone higher in recent decades. And the first year after an election is a fairly typical average year. Now, not every year is positive, but on average, it was a solid positive year. So we'll see what happens. But more important than politics tends to be what's happening with our economy. So as our Olympic team pursues success in Paris, here at home in the US, our economy is solid. We just had reported this week that gross domestic product was positive 2.8%. That's a little bit above average. This morning, PCE price index, which is the Federal Reserve's preferred gauge of inflation, was trending in a positive lower way, which is good news. Employment is high, most Americans have jobs. Unemployment, therefore, is low. So frankly, the economy has been quite resilient so far this year, which has delayed the Federal Reserve from reducing interest rates. That having been said, we do think the Federal Reserve will still reduce interest rates a couple times before the end of the year. May even see the first rate reduction in September. Of course, that's a positive. It's better that the economy is humming along, but it's a positive when the Federal Reserve reduces borrowing costs for you and I, folks that borrow for mortgages, and our great American companies that need to borrow to run their businesses. So in summary, while we're feeling the heat of summer, we're feeling the heat of competition in Paris with our great American Olympic team, and we're feeling the heat be turned up as it relates to the upcoming elections, we'll look beyond those things because they'll probably all take due course, and the markets over the long term will probably do well and resemble what they've done over the long term in history. As always, at Thomas Point Financial, Eileen and I want to thank you, our clients, for allowing us to assist you in the pursuit of your important goals like retirement, wealth accumulation, and others. We wish you a great remainder of the summer and the start of fall. Please take care and goodbye.